We are now recording.
All right. Hello, ladies, and thank you for all taking the time to come and all the people online to our Ohio chapter meeting. Because this is an official meeting. Brought this. And I would like to call the meeting to order. Right, we have a special privilege today because AEP is having a 100 leaders meeting. Kristin had reached out to me and said, hey, I'm going to be in Ohio for this meeting and I'd love to get together and meet your chapter. And I love this idea. Oh my goodness. I hate my own voice. So we talked about it and we put together the happy hour that we had last night, which had a great turnout. And then this meeting today. And when we were talking about the chapter meeting and kind of what we wanted to do for today, I felt like when I joined the Ohio chapter, didn't understand international, didn't understand the broader organization. I didn't really know the leaders. And it wasn't until I went to my first conference that I even grasped it. I know, as much as I would love to give you all free conferences and be able to come, I know a lot of people might not be able to come to conference. So this is a way to have our current president and vice president of WiNUP International come here and give you guys a little taste of the international level and our overall organization, and give you a chance to meet some of the people from other states. One of the things I love about conference and have loved about all the different meetings I've gone to out of state is getting to meet other people in the utility industry in other states, where we get to see that even though we might be in different companies, a lot of us go through the same things. And it's great to bounce ideas off of people. So without further ado, I would like to introduce your 2025 WiNUP International President, Trishia Swayne.
Can you go 2 slides? It'll let me. And one more, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I love those transition slides. I think I'm gonna sit.
Right.
Yeah. So Kristin and I had a fabulous idea of having a little bit of a bio behind us while we're talking. Just to I want to give a little bit of a background personally, and then like my WiNUP testimonial, occasionally I'll be my fan because
It's warm in here.
I'm hot all day long. I'm from Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and I have 3 older brothers, and my parents have been married for almost 60 years. So very thankful and blessed for our 2 years away, God willing, right? And fun fact, my mom was a line woman in a telephone company in the 70s and 80s. So I think she is kind of like my why, like how, and not even on purpose, like subconsciously entered the utility industry, because I think that seed was planted while I was in the womb, to be honest. So that's a cool fun fact. But I went to school at Murray State University in Kentucky and got my undergrad in engineering physics, and then I got my MBA from there. And then started working in consulting in Nashville, which was like an hour from my hometown. So really it was our city. Even though I'm not technically a Nashville native, I like to say that was still my city. So I'm kind of adjacent, right? Because it's cool to say you are. And I moved there and started doing consulting and engineering in 2004. And interestingly enough, my husband also went to Murray State. And we did not date there, but we dated later. But we were both racers, basically, racer alumni. And got married in 2007, so almost 18 years, and have a 15-year-old son, and he's got his permit, so we're working through all of that good stuff. And 2 golden retrievers. And so I currently work for a company called Intercon, and we do engineering and consulting for utilities. We actually do work for the NIPSCO, NiSource people here, for the AEP, all over the country, providing engineering services. Another interesting fact is I've actually only had 2 jobs in 21 years, but 5 different names. It's like I started at a company, it got acquired, it changed names. Then I actually got to start my own company with 8 other people, and then we got acquired. So I'm just riding the roller coaster of this career, basically. But in the middle there, so in 2016, I don't even know what I covered here. Yeah, in 2016, I joined WiNUP. Never heard of it before, actually, and I really thought hard about like how was I invited to the conference? I actually was invited to speak at the national conference in 2016, just based on being a subject matter expert for ER interconnection studies. So that's really kind of my background, the team I led. And so I came to speak about that at the conference. And I cannot remember the one single source of how I got invited. Hopefully I can recall that at some point. But I went to the conference and I was blown away. I was like, how have I not heard of this organization before? All the women in the national chapter were just, you could see how connected they were. Like they were friends, but they were colleagues. They were peers. And I was like, I want that because I felt like at the 12-year mark of my career, I was like craving the network, you know. And as we all know, there's not a lot of women around us in what we're doing in this industry. I had a lot of support, no matter man or woman. And so that was amazing. But I didn't have a lot of other women. My boss eventually became a woman, which was amazing. And she joined with me at the time. But I feel like, my first boss always said, in your career, be connected to industry organizations. And do more than just show up, but actually serve in some role, right? Because you just get more out of it. And so I've just taken that to heart, and I still am, and I was then part of like technical organizations like EEI, IEEE, and all of that stuff, which that gives me a different thing, right? That gives me something different than what it gives me. But from the very beginning, after we joined, I just started showing up. Like I rarely miss a meeting. I rarely miss like a professional development thing or a tour or a social outing. And I was just a sponge, like hearing what these other utilities and businesses were doing and just learning more about the industry and making the friendships. And then I think very early in, because I was there all the time, they were like, do you want to serve in some capacity? So I was like, yes. And I think if we all ask ourselves honestly, like, why do we serve? We may have some similar, but also some different answers. Like mine, I think right now when I think about it, it's like I boil it down to 2 things. One, I like to know what's going on, right? So if you're serving, you're kind of got the end, But also I like to serve. I like to help. Like I'm just a natural helper. So it's just a fit for me to just jump in, raise my hand, and say, what can I do to help this organization continue to, make it to the 100-year mark and beyond, and inject ideas, encourage people, or whatever. And I think like we all come in at different stages. Like I came in at year 12. Some people come in at year 5 of their career. Some people come in at year 20. I think early on, you tend to think people need that mentorship, that encouragement, that learning. And then you feel like naturally later, you evolve into a mentor state. Like I think we lose a lot of people later in their career when they're like more mature in their role because they just get busy. They have too much going on at work. And so they just kind of fall off the radar and went up. But we still need them too because they're pouring back into the others. And then I also think like if you change roles in your career, like I've been doing engineering for 20 years and now I'm doing sales. And so I, once again, am back in the grow zone in the infancy stage, like needing people to pour into me. Like it just kind of, I have matured, but I've also regressed some where it's like, okay, all of a sudden I need that people with more experience pouring into me. So it will change and it will evolve, So I think we do naturally lose people later in their career, but if that's one of you all, and also speaking to us, like don't fall off the radar. Stay connected. You're either getting poured into or pouring into somebody at all times and being an advocate for somebody. So that's what I love about this organization. So I started serving. I was like secretary, treasurer for 2 years, secretary, and then I started seeing like, but learning, okay, what does international do versus at the chapter level? You know, basically at the top, they're coming up with ideas and programs and incentives that pour down into the chapter level, right? So making rules, making brochures, making mentoring programs, those kinds of things that then impact everybody down at the chapter level. And I was like, I kind of want to know what's going on there and how those decisions are made. So then we'll talk about it a little bit later in terms of what boxes you may have to check if you want to make it into an international officer. But the committees are open for all, like to just volunteer and then eventually chair. You get more check boxes when you chair to count towards being able to be an officer. And we'll explain all that. But I just said yes every time. Somebody's like, you want to be the vice chair? Yeah. You want to be the international secretary? I was like, yes. And I think my husband says I say yes too much, but I don't think I'm ever going to stop. I do like, I like a little bit of like being too busy. I thrive in that environment, honestly. So I put it on myself. But I have enjoyed every step of the way. So I just keep saying yes, keep showing up. And I think I'm already thinking about, okay, when I'm international past president, this lady that's going to be in charge of us all next year. You know, what can I do? And then after that, what can I do? Can I get more? Because I feel like I've neglected my chapter a little bit this year, unfortunately, because, you know, we only have so much time to get in places. And I'll be probably more heavily involved there, back at international committees, and just finding some place to plug in. I feel like I thrive when I'm plugged in, and I hope you all do as well. So yeah, that's kind of my involvement, how I got here, my testimonial, and then personally as a side, I like to garden and can things, play guitar, and float as my husband does both.
All right. So, yeah, I just want to start off by saying I appreciate this opportunity. I loved the fact that I was able to say, hey, I'm going to be in Columbus and like, let's do something. And we had a great time for those who came last night, had a lot of fun. I was texting Angie this morning to say that was so much fun. Yeah, and like there's some work stuff I've got to be doing, and I knew I needed to get back to it, but I was like, I don't care. It's been a few hours, have a few drinks, and yeah, stay up a little late.
And for those of you who've ever been to the Easton Pin, Trishia went down the pin slide.
She did.
Yeah.
We have a video. We should have a video.
A lot, but I made it.
Yeah.
You may see it online later.
So just a little bit about me. So I work for AEP, started with AEP in 2014. I'm in the generation field. And so prior to that, I had worked in traditional, I want to say women type offices, but done a lot of like accounting work, budgeting work. I've worked for the local municipality as an accountant for a couple years prior. And anyway, so when I made the transition to the utility field, I remember during my interview, it was after the interview, the person who was interviewing me said, how comfortable do you feel working around all these men? And I'm like, it does not bother me one bit. I mean, I've worked with a lot of women and, you know, women can be fun sometimes. So it's like, it's not going to bother me. So they offered me the position and I was hired in and within a year or so, my boss, a male, came up to me and he's like, you know, you're doing great. It was part of my review process and was like, I'd really like to see you expand beyond the four walls of this location. So I worked at a power plant. It was a smaller gas plant, 240 megawatts. Not a large, I think we had 23 employees there. I was the only female. And he's like, I really want you to get involved, find something that makes sense. And so I actually went to AEP as an internal side, A to Z. And I just like went to the W's and I was like, what's under W? And WiNUP was there, right? Because I was like, there's got to be a women's something, you know, women ERG. At the time, we didn't have WOW, which is our employee resource group. And so I saw WiNUP and I'm like, well, let me check out WiNUP. Well, unfortunately, in my area, we didn't have a chapter. And so I didn't really understand that, but there was a conference coming up and I'm like, hey, so I talked to my boss. He's like, if you want to go, go. And so I'm like, well, let me go to this conference, go check it out. It was in Philadelphia, was my first conference. I still say that was one of my favorite conferences I've ever been to. But I similar to Trishia, left and was like, oh, I'm in. Like, I don't know how I'm going to be in, but I'm going to be in. And so I came back and joined Members at Large, which that's for those places that don't have chapters. It still creates a network for you. It's, there's some complexity there, right? Because it might not be someone you can go have a drink with. But anyways, joined Members at Large. And quickly got some girlfriends who I'd started meeting through work who were like, hey, we should like have a chapter in Oklahoma. Like, And then they were like, well, we used to have a chapter in Oklahoma, but it kind of fizzled out, right? And I was like, well, I would like to revive that. So we looked into what it required to build a chapter. And so I'm happy to say I was one of the founding members of our Texoma chapter. And the reason we called it Texoma is at the time, we had a few members that lived right on the border on the Texoma River, and we couldn't call it Oklahoma because we already have the Oklahoma chapter. So we were like, let's involve everyone, and we called ourselves Texoma. So started off, I think I came in right as the vice chair. We all had to take on a role because there was only a few of us. So I was like, I'll take on vice chair. And so quickly vice chair, then chair. And then I remember, and I tell this story, I told it at last year's summer board meeting. Holly Huffman was the president at the time, and she reached out to me, and I did not know who she was. I mean, I knew she was our president, but I hadn't ever really spent time with her. He had emailed me and was like, I'd like to set up some time to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay. WiNUP president wants to talk to me, whatever. Okay. And she's like, I really would like to see you get involved at an international level on the member retention committee. I called that at the time. She saw how passionate I was. She was like, you're new. Like, we'd like some new ideas. Would you like to get involved? And all it took was her asking. And I was like, sure, I'd love to serve in some capacity. And so joined that committee, and then it's kind of been a whirlwind ever since. I started getting involved internationally. I started getting on different committees, expanding my network. And so I was doing a lot at the chapter, and luckily, we started with 4 members. We're at 24 members now, which I know doesn't seem like a ton to y'all because y'all are just this massive chapter, but for us, we were so excited to see that growth, right? So I'm like, okay, I think the chapter is good. We've got some really great leadership. Now it's my time to start thinking about international. And so luckily, I was elected by you guys, so thank you for that. And so ever since then, I've been following her leadership, a few other former past presidents, including Thompson here on the front row, just what did they do? What are some of the efforts they've had in their toolkit to try to evolve WiNUP? And so I think the moral of my story, going back to, I had a leader who was a male who recognized I need to empower her. Like, she's doing great within the 4 walls, but like, he understood the importance to me to be around other women in this industry because it is unique, right? And even just talking this morning before we kicked off, just hearing, the customer service side of things and the compliance side of things, just learning that, and we all touch a different piece of that. So that's one thing I love about WiNUP too, is just learning about other people in other utilities, learning about other states, just learning the differences. We were talking about different states have different laws and things that, utility generation, for instance, my background is generation. That's not a thing in AEP Ohio, right? So like when I was in AEP Texas last week, they don't have generation either. So it's like, well, we're not going to talk about my line of work. Let's talk about your line of work. So anyways, that's kind of my journey with WiNUP. I've just been empowered by my peers. I've been empowered by my leaders. And I think that's what's really set the foundation for me to grow, both personally and professionally. And so just a little bit more about me. My current role is I'm continuous improvement in human performance. Some people are like, what is human performance? It's just understanding that we make mistakes and making sure that when we make mistakes, if we make a mistake, we do that safely. We don't harm ourselves, harm assets, harm our reputation, things of that nature. So our current CEO at American Electric Power, I'm really excited to hear him focusing on that. I've been doing it since 2019. And so when he brought it back up, I'm like, oh, this is exciting. Might be able to get some alignment here. So that's exciting to think about. But born and raised in Oklahoma, I have 3 children. My oldest, 23. We were talking about it last night. I've got a 16 and 17-year-old with all their fun challenges. One of them called me this morning at breakfast, and I'm like, calm down. The kids are fun. So I'm a dog mom. I love my dogs. We rescue dogs. And so we currently have a 9-month-old black lab who is testing me in all ways, financially, emotionally, all the things. But she's the best. So anyways, that's just a little bit about me. I love that I was part of our chapter. I love being able to say I was a founding member. Now my goal is to move towards not having it fizzle out like it did before, maintaining that support from my company, but also expanding that support in our community to make sure that we've got multiple groups involved, not just AEP, PSOs who I work for. So that's kind of a goal that we've got. So happy to continue my international work, but then after that's over, back to the chapter and keep rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, strategic plan update. So I'm still talking. All right.
But before, let's give you a moment to breathe, have a drink,
Okay. I don't.
because I love prizes. And
You got all the stuff?
I believe I have everyone in except for Jody, who just walked in.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna be.
But I've already pulled my first winner, Allie. Allie is from Davie and was down here last night, and drove 2 hours to join us last night, but she had to drive home. Allie, are you still online, or did you jump in and jump out? She might have jumped in and jumped out. Allie is the winner of a prize. Katie, what shall she win?
She's going to win a WiNUP Ohio Chapter notebook.
Allie has just won. All right, and just for good fun, let's pull another name. All right. Kristin Heller, you are the winner. And where did she go? Oh, okay. She got none. You may go back and pick your prize.
Any recommendations? Sam Quino, you have a best friend at work.
Oh, yeah, I will call. So we should tell it, for those who are in AAP, let's talk real quick about the best friend at work.
Can you bring one of the books up?
So Sam Quino is head of
Shameless
security
plug.
for American Electric Power. And I don't know, what have we been doing? 5, 6, 7, 8 years of this? I don't know. A while.
He does Best Friend Friday.
Best Friend Friday. So we did a culture survey a few years ago, and then one of the questions was, do you have a best friend at work? Well, some people took that literally and was like, no, my best friend is Joanne since high school, right? And so we didn't score great on there, but then once we understood what a best friend at work meant, he kind of started highlighting it and actually wrote a book about it. And so I was on one of the series, Best Friend Friday. He came to Tulsa, and I was able to call out who my best friend was, and then he got a little teddy bear. And it's just showing that, like, all of you are my best friends at work because I look out for you. I care for you professionally and personally, and I hope you do the same for me. So,
And also, Sam is a huge advocate for WiNUP. He is
Yes.
an Ohio WiNUP member. He's one of our executive sponsors. So he gave us a bunch of these books about his story of Best Friend Friday to give away. We'll be featuring some of them today. And since we have this one up here, and Trishia is new to Best Friend Friday.
She's meet Sam.
Yeah.
You'll love Sam.
Yes, ma'am.
He has a whole channel and the whole thing.
Yeah, you can just go out front right and you'll be.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into the strategic plan. So let me backstep a few steps. So I mentioned my role is continuous improvement in human performance. So one of the jobs that I'm tasked with in my day-to-day work is I manage PSO's Generation Strategic Plan. I've been doing that before our current CEO came on. We've always had a business plan, and so we look at what we're going to track, how do we gauge that we're doing better. And so I've been involved with strategic planning for, 10 years now, probably. So our immediate past president, Laura Havis, had reached out, and she knew that I did this type of work. We've talked, and we wouldn't know each other otherwise besides WiNUP, just plug in there. So she had asked me, she's like, hey, I'd really like in my presidency to put together a strategic plan, a vision for when it's going to look like, short-term, long-term, and I'd like your help with that. And I'm like, sure, if that's a way I can serve, let me do that. And so some of you may recall, if you were in the executive committee for your chapter, last year we started asking a bunch of questions. I think your chapter did a survey.
Yeah, those annoying surveys I sent
It was
out
because of me.
repeatedly last year to gain your feedback.
Yeah, that was me.
Because I was your international board rep last year, and I had to report back to international
Yes.
about the chapter's findings, what we were seeing, what you guys were thinking.
And that's
And
what
then-
ended up.
I gathered your data.
And so we felt it was important. Anytime you do a strategic plan or any kind of vision that you're outward looking, you want to make sure that everybody has input on that. It wouldn't make sense if Laura just put together a plan that made sense to her, right? We want to make sure that we represented a plan that the effects of it could be felt throughout the organization, short-term and long-term. And so we asked a series of questions. We trended that data, what data we could trend. Other data, we did a lot of, word clouds. Like, what were the things that were repeated consistently over that people wanted to see? Mentoring, professional relationships, exposure, things that were important to them. And so we started building some of our plan from that. Some of it was more strategic thinking, like we need to make sure we're fiscally sound, right? Make sure we're an organization that can celebrate 100 years. Let's make sure we're here for 100 more. And so good business decisions, things of that nature. And so put together this plan, worked on it all of last year, put it in place. Trishia was able to kind of roll it out in hers and get going. And so we wanted to give you an update on all the items we're looking at and currently working on. You may be aware of some of them, you may not be. If you want to be involved in some of them, if something speaks to you, we can definitely make that happen. Maybe someone's like, I love making budgets. I love long-term forecasting. Like, let's talk. Like, there might be a place that makes sense for you. So one of the first things is the strategic financial plan. We want to make sure our plan makes sense. COVID hit us hard, like it hit a lot of people, right? And so financially, we want to make sure we're sustainable. And so that's being looked at right now. Some conversations are being had of what makes sense with our investment strategy, how we want to invest within WiNUP, things of that nature. So that's being worked on with our budget and finance committee. And they're just starting that process now. Luckily, we had a previous president, actually two of them, who had worked on something similar. So they've got some good reference points to go back to. So they're doing that as well, gathering that information. Continue website refresh and research supplemental applications. So let's call it what it is. Our website, it's there. Is it fantastic? No. I'm just going to say it. It has an opportunity to improve. That's technology. The minute you buy a phone, it's outdated, right? So we need to make sure that we're investing the time for our website to make sure it's accessible, it's friendly, it's easy to find things. Because, with this generation, after 2 or 3 clicks, if you don't find it, you're disengaged. And so we want to make sure that we have applications that make sense to people and that people can use. Now, saying that, we did a big website refresh. I don't remember what year it was. It's been a while. It has come so far. It's fantastic. So I don't want to take that away, right? We just have an opportunity to continue improving it. And so we also are testing out mobile apps right now so that you can, get on from your phone. You don't have to be at a computer, find things there. So that is in progress and it's really moving along. And so we just want to make sure that it's accessible. All the information is easily accessible. So the incorporate day of service. So next year, you'll hear me talk about this a lot. I am hugely involved in my community. That's how I feel I give back. Servant leadership is huge to me. Like, I'm super involved with the community, super involved in United Way efforts, things of that nature. And so we've started talking about creating an annual day of service. All of our chapters do amazing volunteer activities. Wouldn't it be cool if we could find a way to be strategic about it and look at the impact we could make if we came together as a larger group? Not saying in a space, like maybe it's, let's just say Girl Scouts or something like that, where we could all do something with Girl Scouts. And maybe it's, single mothers, whatever it may be. Look at doing that as a collective and really highlighting that. That's a marketing exposure too. Look at what this large group of women came together on, April 14th, and look at the impact. So that's something that we're talking about. I'm really excited about that coming to fruition. I think we can make a huge impact with just a little bit of effort there. So excited about that.
And just to add to that, I think that's one of the things that came out of, we're so isolated, like we really only come together as an organization one time a year. And then everything else is like chapters, right? So this is one of the things that was like, what can we do to be united, right? So this is one, and there'll be more she's going to say, but that was one idea that came out of that.
Yeah, so excited about what that may come out to be. The next thing is updating our profiles. You're going to hear a lot about this in the coming months. We have so many women who have so many characteristics and skills that not all of us know about, right? And so really want to take advantage of as members, building up our profile within the website to garner all the things that we know about each other, and that you could either help out within WiNUP. You might be able to help me out professionally. You might be able to help me out personally. And so really looking at expanding on making sure we update our profiles. A great example of that, Laura Havis just knew I did strategic planning. That's not something I put in my profile, but I should, right? I should put some of the efforts I'm involved with because you never know where a leader in NiSource might be like, hey, like we could do this activity. Is there a way to find someone over at WiNUP that could do this? You know, make it searchable. So really focus. That's an easy lift. And so I'd really like to see us evolve into updating our profile. So if you haven't, I encourage you to go out there, put your picture out there, tell us what all you do. You think of it as like LinkedIn. So
And
someone
the
can-
app will help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was gonna say, we were discussing them testing the app, and the app, once we roll it out to you guys, will make it much easier for you to just update your profile right there on the app. And it's things like, last night, talking to Allie, may or may not be on. I didn't know she was in marketing for her group. And so as I'm looking at WiNUP marketing at the international level, I'm able to reach out to her and pick her brain and go, hey, marketing is your field of expertise. Could I bounce some ideas off you? And that's just things, just putting that in your profile. Once we make that searchable, you can go, oh, okay, well, these people specialize in marketing. So if you have questions like that, you can reach out.
That very similar. Last night connecting with Abby, you know, who works at a company with solar panels. Well, I'm in generation, which means I'm also involved with renewables. And so, hey, you never know when that connection might come in handy, right? Where I'm like, oh, I know somebody who knows somebody. So, yeah, you just never know. But moving on to our next page. So our next two pieces are tied to our marketing and really our membership recruitment. You know, we really always focus on new members, right? And that's fantastic. And so what are some opportunities where we can have outreach to our opportunity list and take advantage of our members? And so that's something to think you, our marketing committee is looking at that. Our marketing committee is doing a lot of stuff this year. And I really am excited about that because it's going to be, I don't want to say standardized, but there's going to be options for our chapters to choose from. And so that next one, the communicate and educate our members on the use of our marketing toolkit, the things they're putting together, well, hopefully like a meeting like this, whoever's preparing a meeting can go in and print off stuff that's specific to WiNUP and then make a couple changes to the Ohio chapter and boom, it's consistent with what I would send in Texoma. And so I think that's fantastic. They're doing a lot of great things. So, and if that's something you're interested in marketing, we'll talk about that with committees. We've got some opportunities. There's a lot of great minds, creative minds out there. And so the next one is our develop our retention strategy. So what I talked about, membership growth is important. Retention is just as important. As Trishia mentioned, you know, sometimes there's this gap. Is it between the 5 and 10 years that we lose most of our members? I think it's the 5 to 10 mark.
It's fascinating right now, as I was talking to Shanna, we're losing a lot after 2 years
In your chapter?
in our chapter.
Yeah. And so we really want to develop a strategy around that. Like, what is that reason? Like, what do we need to understand? What's the driving factor there? And so we want to start talking about that. We want to understand, is it company sponsorship? Is it company support, leadership support? Is it that internationally or locally we're not giving you what you need? And if so, what is that you need? So we're really trying to, we're going to have to take a few years to gather that information. We can't make decisions without actually having the information, but that's something we're going to be looking at. Those new members are important, but retention is just as important. So, and I'd be curious, I mean, when we roll this out, like, what is that factor? You know, I think I have some assumptions, but I'm not sure, you know, so anyway. Also, I'm super excited about the next one, the development of member resource groups. So I know here at AEP, we have employee resource groups, and those are a fantastic outlet for just many different reasons. I'm actually a member of NATION, which is the Native American ERG Women at Work. I actually planned their conference that we did. Did anybody watch the Women at Work conference that took place? Yay, I'm so excited you guys did. We did that in PSO. I was super excited to help plan that. Next year, if anyone knows Karen Gilmore, she will be planning next year's Women at Work conference. But anyway, those, and I'm also a member of Pride. And so those are just groups that I can go talk to because I'm an ally or I'm just hanging out with, whatever. And so we should be doing that in WiNUP too. And I really am excited about the potential for the retirement course groups. We're hearing from our retirees, why do I need to stay involved with WiNUP? Like, what value is it providing me as I retire? there's going to be a ton. And so we want to find that opportunity. So some of the ones we're talking about are retirement resource groups, mothers, young mothers, young mothers. Maybe there's something that they should have a group to talk about. Just different conversations there. So really excited about the potential of that because I have seen how the employee resource group at AEP has helped me. So I'm hopeful that the same happens.
I think it'll help with retention.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's like getting like situational people together to kind of, and then, they can bring ideas even back to international and their chapters and say, hey, we've been talking and we're struggling to find the value as a collective group, but we have these ideas, like, could these be things we offer or, in terms of events or whatever offerings, whatever, like awards, scholarships, different things.
Yeah. And the next page, so again, membership growth and retention, the website tools, understanding what the website committee is doing. I know the website committee is a mighty charge led by a fine woman who does amazing things, but she needs all the help, right? So another plug there that we'll talk about committees later, but just looking at, some growth there and some tools there. Develop ideas to increase member participation, develop 4 international supported events. So there's some conversation there. We had a first regional workshop. Actually, it was in our territory. I didn't get to make it, but it was in Fort Worth, and it was South Texas, North Texas, Texoma, Corpus, and Arclifex. And so all of them came together. Next year, we are going to have another regional workshop in Corpus Christi. So really what the premise of that is, hey, I can't come to an international conference with an expensive X, but maybe I could come to a regional workshop that's just one day. Maybe it's driving distance. Corpus is not driving distance for me, but put those together, another opportunity beyond just the international conference. So we're recognizing, like Trishia said, we only get together as a group collectively one time a year. Not everybody can do that. Let's find other opportunities for people to be in person like we did last night. I mean, really, really enjoyed that.
And that model, we're trying to use that as a pilot, really. Obviously, they'll continue, but that model we want to be replicated for other close by chapters. Like, I think about Nashville. We have a new Alabama chapter. We've got Atlanta. There's yeah, and then even in Kentucky, like you can do something that people can drive to do the same kind of model.
Yep.
Or even for up here,
So what would be close here? What's the chapter that's close here? I'm sorry.
The closest chapters to us are going to be West Virginia, Indiana, Metro Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, so maybe that's something you partner with, throwing out some ideas. So, anyway, super excited to see that continue on. A few other things we've got down here. It's all tied to the website. Training for website admins. I was a website admin for our chapter. I'm not an IT person. I could figure it out. Thank goodness for Hillary. But, training for how to manage the website, how to get it updated. Who's your website admin? Who updates your chapter site? Do you? Yeah. Okay.
Me,
Needs to be
Jody, Katie,
Okay.
Jacobia.
So, I mean,
It's a team effort.
exactly. Yes, exactly. So, training for the website admins, because, somebody may want to hand that off one day and understanding how to do that. The Club Express app, like I mentioned earlier, that's in progress, hoping really soon to get that out there. We're testing out some functionality, including the chat room. I know for those who go to conference, we've used an app there, which I know you're really bummed that we're not counting points and all the things.
They are counting some points, but they're restraining me.
Yeah.
You and Diane.
Yeah.
So Diane Nunez.
So that's just another opportunity, for me within AEP. I've got the Teams channel and I do a lot of chatting, probably more than I should on Teams. Gifts go around all day depending on what mood I'm in. But now that we might have it on our phone to be able to do that with somebody who's at another company, that's kind of exciting. So
Well, yeah, I always say, like, okay, if I'm if I'm traveling for work, which I travel a lot, like I try to find WiNUP people or, friends, family, WiNUP people, other connections. That's not just what I'm going for work. Or like if I'm going to a conference, like I want to say, hey, I'm going to Distribute Tech. Any WiNUP lady's going to be there. Like, let's meet up. But I have nowhere to really do that right now.
Right. Well, this will help with that. Like, I was in Corpus in April, so I reached out to the chapter, let's do something. So yeah, that will definitely help with that piece. So, I think that's all we have for the strategic plan. But before I move on, that was a ton of information. Is there any questions about our strategic plan, on anything we can be clear about, anything that you didn't see us focusing on that we should be focusing on?
Have you considered a an attrition survey? Or like a post attrition, like one-on-one chat?
So we have, that's been part of that conversation, is, how do we get that? Because we need to get that information somehow, right? So that is part of the conversation. How do we do that, and are we expecting responses? Are people just going to disconnect? You know what I mean? So we've been kind of going through that, but yes, that is at the top. That's going to be about the only way we can get it, right? So that's actually something you could data pull from. So yeah. In conversation. Yes.
I'm on the membership committee with Jacobia, and we were talking before about how do we get WiNUP in front of like other conferences, and there's obviously a cost associated to having a booth. Has that been considered in the financial budget?
I'll let Trish talk about
Yeah,
that.
so this year we're doing the Utility Expo, which is right after conference. And right now we have the EC and past presidents kind of volunteering to staff the booth. And that could be expanded later. It's like our pilot, I think, to just figure out how this works and how much it costs. And if we have some booth material that we can house somewhere that we can continue to use. And I think you all on your subcommittee, we have a list of some other conferences to consider. So thank you for that. So our plan is to look at that and kind of prioritize, okay, which one do we try next year? And I think we have to try, it might be too expensive to do really more than one a year, unless we'll just kind of see with the financial plan. We'd have to look at what's our revenue plans and what's our spend plans, and then like how do we do those things well? And if we can afford more conferences, like we have to find the ones that attract the most relevant, people to that. So it may or may not be Utility Expo, but we're going to look at the list and pick another one next year. So that's very helpful.
But also to piggyback off of what Trishia was saying, in the International Marketing Committee, we're looking at within that marketing toolkit, just having some tools that our members, let's say one of you are attending a conference, another conference, just having some stuff maybe you can bring with you. And as you're talking to women, say, hey, I'm in this other organization, and be able to hand something out. Maybe something as simple as a business card with a QR code on it for them to
Talking
pass out.
about WiNUP pin.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart. I mean, I do that all the time. Like, I feel like I'm constantly finding women, not for Nashville, but just wherever I go. I'm like, hey, where do you live? Heard about WiNUP, and I
chapter.
follow up with an email and say, here's the website, here's what it's about. And a lot of them will join.
Yeah.
It seems like there's more members at large, but I was like, hopefully collectively we'll be enough in one of those locations at some point. But ask me about WiNUP Pen is.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I wrote
I'm not
that
mad
one
at
down.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. So before we move on to conference, because I want to be mindful of everybody's time that we've got committed here. We're at 12:50, just giving you,
Okay,
keeping you
thank
in
you.
the honor. Abby shared with me just a great story last night that you just never know when an opportunity is going to present itself. We have an international committee, the mentoring committee. I chaired it last year. I'm the mentor this year. We have a longstanding mentor he's been our mentor for years and highly engaged with WiNUP. And he met Abby through a different channel, and he told her about WiNUP and was like, hey, I think you should get involved here. Like, check it out. And I mean, you just never know, when you're going to have that opportunity. And I think that just speaks volumes for the organization that he sees the value as an ally for WiNUP. That he was like, he met this young lady and was like, you need to get in with this group. And now we're connected. So I'm thankful for that. So you just never know. You just never know.
I love that.
We got a couple questions in the chat
Yeah.
too. Jessica says, in terms of retention, have you considered proactively reaching out maybe 3 months before membership is due for renewal to check in and see if they're thinking about dropping or what it would take to keep them?
That's not a bad idea. The That's not a bad idea. Cause we look at that every year of, when renewals starts up and, it kind of lags there for a little bit. And so, yeah, that's not a bad idea to at least understand current state because things are going to happen, right? But if you're seeing a trend of whatever it may be, if you could get ahead of that and make that a leading indicator versus a lagging indicator and try to get ahead of it, that's a great idea. I like
Thank you
that.
for that.
Yeah.
And then one more, when it comes to joining committees, is it important to join committees you have experience in? Or is it encouraged to also join if you want to learn more about doing that type of support?
Okay, I'm going to use the website committee as a perfect example. You do not have to be an IT person to be a part of the website committee. Okay, are you going to learn some tricks behind the scenes? Yeah, you probably are, but you can join with what's familiar to you. Absolutely. But if you want to evolve, think of how you could join, let's just say the website committee. Think of how you could put that on your resume. Think about how when you're on LinkedIn, you can say, I have exposure for, website development. I mean, I know that's a stretch, right? But you can say these things and it's going to help you. So I would challenge, do what's comfortable for you or get outside the box a little bit and do something maybe that's, I term it all the time, productive discomfort. I used to not understand it and now I thrive in that area because I just am like, if I'm productive, it will become comfortable at some point. So yeah, totally recommend that, which we're going to talk about committees here in a little bit. And since I'm starting to build and think about next year, I love that conversation. And the goals, we're going to have goals. And so if anyone's interested in chairing a committee, I would love to talk to you about that.
And to piggyback off of that, I am interested in marketing. Do I have a marketing degree or any background in it? Absolutely not. Did I join the marketing committee at International this year? Yes.
Because you're creative.
I am creative.
Yeah.
And I have ideas for days.
And just a quick time check, we have this room till 1:30.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Next up.
Next thing is conference. Save the date. Okay, so we did this, I think, early on, but we have more people in here now. So anybody, if you're already registered for conference, raise your hand. Anybody still thinking about it? Okay, we got some thinking.
All
Okay.
right.
And online? Okay, I see some. Yes. Okay. Awesome. This year's going to be in Pittsburgh, September 29th through October 1st. So even if you haven't registered, lock your calendar in so you don't forget it.
Which, one note, due to AEP donating some money towards conference and the efforts of Stacy Mighton and Katie Blubaugh, we get to offer one conference scholarship to an AEP WiNUP member. So for those of you who work at AEP, look for an application to be coming out within the next week to apply for that conference book scholarship. So it'll pay for the cost of conference itself. It will not pay for travel. So you'd still have that expense. But if you were on the fence and that might help, be looking out for an email from me.
Right now, we have 146 registered. We're expecting around 160 based on others that have said they still think about. But if we can get that number higher, that's even better. I wanted to go through the program here in a second, like the draft program, so you can get a feel for what the flow is going to be. But first, I think sponsorships are really, really close to the goal, but they're not going to say no to any. So if your company wants to sponsor, or if you know another company or one of your vendors, just ask everybody. Be like, would you be interested in sponsoring?
If they'd like to have a booth there.
Yeah.
A lot
Some of the sponsorships come with booths, so then they'll get some traction there. The theme for the banquet, which they have a DJ, which is really, really fun, is the 2025 Black and Gold Banquet, Bridging Our Legacy and Creating Our Future through WiNUP. So prepare to wear your black and gold. Registration for the conference closes September 5th, and then the group discount for the hotel is August 29th. So there's still time. So for the ones that are still deciding. But if you have the draft agenda, let's pull that up and look at that.
While
together.
she's pulling that up, Kim Jenkins, you are a winner. Want to go back to the prize table And also next up as a winner chicken dinner, we have Andorra. Andorra, you've won a prize. Yay.
Okay.
Hey there,
So-
so I can hear you. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you.
Yay.
So it really starts, the pre-conference meetings and activities are Saturday. And that's really for the executive committee. So we're gonna meet, we'll probably, a lot of us be there Friday, actually. So we'll meet Saturday, and then Sunday really opens to everybody. So, during the day, the meetings are the IB meeting and chapter, or committee chairs. And then there's a chapter chair meeting. And then, I really encourage, if you're a new member of WiNUP or a first time conference attendee, or you haven't been in a while and it's like the first time all over again, come to that first time attendee meeting orientation from 4 to 5 on Sunday. It's got a lot of good information in there. I know they're still kind of designing what that looks like, but it's really helpful and gets you kind of loosened up. Like a lot of times, like that first evening before conference, you really have to network. It kind of loosens up your nerves and gets you like seeing familiar faces. And then when the conference starts Monday, you're like, oh, I know you, I know you, I know you. And then you're like comfortable, right? So that helps that comfort set in. If you come to that. And then there's registration, and then there's a reception from 6 to 8, and they're gonna have bingo, which is always very competitive and wild and fun. So do the bingo.
Yeah, same with the Nashville chapter. We had a nanny of time last year.
And that's really raising money for the 2026 conference. You're supporting 2 conferences in one when you come to the bingo. So Monday, we have breakfast, we have like a general, like a welcome, and then just sessions squad. I love how it's like a blend of like personal and professional development, and it is every year. And I think they've done well on the agenda this year. So we're gonna do have a talk about bridging work and life by learning to create balance. And you'll see people that are not members that are speaking. So we've got speakers there with PJM and AEP. And
Well, not
Angie's been
anymore.
replaced.
Angie has decided that I needed some more balance in my work-life balance. I'm not speaking.
But they've replaced that. I don't know that.
Yeah, it's ABB, Michelle Hensley with the little twin.
Oh, okay, perfect. And then of course, we had to build a networking break. So the first one's a panel, the second one's is a panel, and that's connecting utilities with new grid demand. So this is gonna be kind of like more technical and on the energy front of things.
Yeah, this one's
electric
more
side of things.
regulatory, legislative.
And then we have the tour. So Monday's gonna be really fun. We're gonna take we're gonna have lunch and take a 1-hour boat ride, to learn about Pittsburgh. And then we're gonna land at the Carnegie Science Center. We have admission there, and we get to learn all about the things going on there. And then that pretty much concludes that evening. But we usually, you'll find ways to get connected that evening, like
Yeah,
chapter dinners or
nice, for those of you in NiceSource, usually that Monday night, the NiceSource from all the different areas will do a get together. Ohio chapter will have a dinner somewhere. So the NiceSource people are usually deciding which way we're gonna go. I might get with the NiceSource people and see where they're trying to go, so I can just be by them. So that I don't have
fun
to,
alternative.
so I don't have to compete when they steal my people. Not better.
And then Tuesday, we have breakfast again. We have just a general session, and safety briefing announcement. And then we have the annual business meeting, which is about 45 minutes. That's just, all year long, we have official meetings that the executive committee does, the international board, and very official, like you open it, you close it, you make the motions, you approve the minutes. And this allows everyone in the room to be involved in that, representing every chapter. And I think at this point, we almost have someone from every chapter represented inside that for conference. So that's really exciting. So we'll go over like, what have we accomplished this year? Recognize some people, recognize some anniversaries, like how long have we been with the organization? And then we have a keynote address by Jennifer Montague, And you'll notice bridges is a theme because Pittsburgh has the 3 bridges. So that's kind of like woven throughout all the sessions. And then we have a break and we have another AI discussion with Kelsey being the moderator there. We heard Kennedy actually at the regional meeting at Encore. She's amazing. You'll enjoy that. And then lunch is provided again, and then we have this actually Tuesday is our lunch that's sponsored by the past president. And they did offer some scholarships this year to a few folks for conference through the past president. But they're going to help us talk about like our own personal assets and how that impacts WiNUP and how WiNUP impacts us and our assets. Like, so it'll kind of pull out of us, like, what do you have to offer? And we're going to be in different tables. So you'll be in working groups. I think it'll be really fun. I think we'll learn some things about ourselves and others. Part of that. And then the rest of the day are breakout sessions. And I think we have 2 or 3, right, that are completely booked. And then the others have like at least 25 people. So it's a variety of things. So one is nonprofit board. We have a public speaking. We've got more technical with regulatory bodies. We have work-life balance. We've got making the most out of your time at WiNUP. And then the generational gaps the net offers, it's
Yeah.
excellent.
For those of you who, we do have on our YouTube channel, the net session that we did. But this one still go in more depth. And if you just wanted more Danette and wanted to go deeper into that generations, she will also be at conference talking about it.
We all want more Danette.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then connecting on STEM, specifically with the National Girls Collaborative Project. And then financial management is another breakout. I think there's 2 breakouts and each
Three
one
breakout
has 4 sessions. 3. There's 3 and each one has 4 sessions, right?
Yeah,
So
different, there's lots of options.
I feel like when you register, you pick those. So,
But we're not holding them to them at this point. So if you change your mind, you can change where you go later.
no, you're not locked in for
We're
life.
not locked in.
Connecting with utility leaders, mentoring and coaching. I like that one. Gas properties. Yes, we actually, I also love about this conference is it's not just electric everything. So that's nice we represent more than just electric. So we really need to hear about all the different utility spaces.
Yeah, so they're going to catch things on fire in that one.
Retirement and beyond, changing jobs. And then of course our banquet and our awards ceremony, an amazing dinner. So this will be the Years of Service Awards, Chapter Achievement, newsletter, individual awards, and then we're going to install the officers, President-elect. And then we're going to have fun. There's DJ. So we'll be dancing. We'll be having a good time. So stick around for that.
Yes, the DJ is always fun.
And the last day, I'll say some folks usually like leave in the morning, but I encourage you to stay. There's a lot of goodies. It's a half a day on Wednesday. So of course we have another introduction, but here we get to present the check to our charity, which is the National Girls Collaborative Project. And you're going to see some more information come out soon on things to donate, to bring or like an Amazon wish list to kind of like supply them. But there's also fundraisers and raffles throughout the conference that raises money. And also our auction basket, like each chapter brings a silent auction basket, and all that money goes to this project. So it's really cool on the last day to kind of see how much was raised. And usually it's like, there's a big check, right? So they get to hold, the big check. And so that's nice. And then there's a conference teaser. And then we've got, I think it's a 2-part thing with Tanya Ticket, which is next level leadership. So it's
Tanya is
a break and then it's finished, goes to the end.
Tanya's local here to Central Ohio, and AEP has utilized her before. She's a phenomenal speaker. So
Well, she was at our Little Rock concert. It was like a concert.
Yeah. Especially for the
Kristen
karaoke
sang.
people. But yeah, so it's really inclusive of so many just enriching things, personal development, professional development, fun, a boat ride, we love perfect weather, lots of networking opportunities. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I encourage you, if you haven't signed up, to do it.
Doing a time check, we're almost at 1:10.
Yeah. And
So-
we are ready to go to, oh, I still haven't done committees.
I know.
Okay, I'll be quick on that.
Yeah, I can
Talked
always,
about it a little bit already.
you guys have covered a lot of what I might talk about in international board, so.
Okay. Any questions about conference?
If not, you know where to find me.
Okay, we talked about committees a little bit earlier. This is the list of the committees right now. So it evolves every now and then. We'll try on a new one. So like records management is the new one this year, which is absorbing historian, which eventually it'll just be called records management. But we think that's so important because like we have all these tubs of things, you know, spread out. And it's like, okay, well, do we need to keep these? And what do we need to keep? There's a policy that goes along with being a 501c6, right? So a retention policy. So we have to go through it and say, like, throw away, save, shred, whatever. And I think we'll end up with a smaller pile. But also going forward, like, what do you need to keep electronic? And just following the retention policy is what that can be. But anyway, we have budget and finance. We actually renamed chapter new member development and retention. What is it now?
So,
It's smaller. It's a
Yeah.
smaller name now.
yeah.
Anyway, there's conference committee, marketing and the newsletter used to be two separate committees, but now they're together. We're trying that out. So it's marketing and member publications. Mentoring, nominating. I mean, you can read the list here, but there's lots of ways to be involved. In terms of commitment, typically they'll meet monthly. Every now and then, like, I think records management is like quarterly or every other month. Some of them don't meet as often. And some of them are large with a lot of goals. And so they have even subcommittees. And you all are a part of those where you may have your own meeting cadence. The chair will meet quarterly with our executive committee. And then the chair will attend the summer board meeting in person or virtual. In person preferred. Next year will be in Tulsa. And then in person at the international conference on Sunday afternoon. So that's kind of like the commitment level, you know, and there's some organization around it. So like outside of like an hour a month, just doing the things that are action items assigned to you or checking in on your team. But it's not a huge commitment, I would say, not astronomical, especially if you divide and conquer as a committee, right? So like as the chair, don't do it all, like have your team, everybody takes on different activities and you get so much more done. So in terms of what it helps you with on eligibility, chairing is one of the eligibility requirements for international officer positions. Committee chairing and membership improves your scoring for the WiNUP awards that are offered, the Power, the Oak, the Honorary Life. And the signups are typically November, December. And then the incoming president will then start making the goals for the committees, you know. So a lot of times you are on a committee for a minute, like a season, and then maybe it's natural for you to chair it the next time. But you can be bold. You can just go in and she picks the chairs along with Lisa, our executive director. But the more we network, the more, you know, the more she's going to know like what you have to offer. And if you're a good fit to be a chair to lead and make sure the goals are accomplished.
So
So
if you're interested, shoot me an email.
get with her.
Love to talk about it.
Question.
If you're interested in volunteering on a committee but not chairing it, how do you do that?
That'll be signups. That'll take place. There'll be some emails. If you go to conference, we do that. We start having those conversations at conference, but there'll be an official email that will go out to all members that will allow you to sign up, and that'll come out into fourth quarter.
But you can also join anytime.
Yeah.
So we don't want to hold you back. So like if you see one of these, if you go to the website, one of the document folders is all like the chairs for each committee. There's a spreadsheet in there. So you just reach out to that chair and be like, hey, I want to join mid-year, end of year, whatever.
Or if the website navigation is not everybody's forte, just reach out to me and I'll get you connected with whoever you need to get connected with.
So it's really open all year. That's just the introduction of like who wants to do it next year for sure. And then you can pop on anytime.
And even if you just want to sample, like, let's jump on a committee and see what it looks like without committing, I'm sure a lot of the committee chairs would be happy to have you come and just kind of watch a committee meeting.
It's a good way to network with other ladies at other companies and other career paths, other roles. So, any questions back then? All right, the rest is you.
All right. So we're going to zip through these, be cognizant of time, and because a lot of things were covered. So our international board rep this year is Kim Safari, but she was on vacation for this week, so she wasn't able to go. So I stepped in and went to the summer board meeting to represent the Ohio chapter and got to hear all the different report outs. With that, an amazing thing happened this year that has never happened before. We had our first ever 100% attendance from all of the board reps from all the chapters, as well as we had someone representing every international committee.
It was awesome.
So that made for a very productive meeting because we had everyone we needed there. Then at that meeting, there's some votes that we do, discussions. One of those votes was renaming one of our scholarships. We went from it being the Member Professional Development Scholarship to being the Member Continuing Education Grant. This is something that is eligible for any continuing education, including degrees. So let's say you want to get your PMP or another technical certification that you can use, you can apply for that. But there's also another high value scholarship. So by changing this, it helps with minimizing confusion between the two scholarships.
Like there's three that are really actually for advanced degrees. And this was always confusing because it can really be, if I need to do continuing education for my PE license, then I take a course for that, or any accounting license or anything that you have, and we're actually doing more changes to it where it can be retroactive, because a lot of times, thinking to plan ahead, it's complicated versus, oh, I just did that. Let's submit the reimbursement form. So we're trying to put a window around it that makes it more attractive.
And then another thing we get to hear is about the next conference. So the Indiana chapter reported out to us and let us know about the 2026 conference. So the 2026 conference will be in Indianapolis. It is going to be at Town Plaza Union Station, which is a historic train station. The dates will be September 20th through the 23rd of 2026. I'm sorry, I put 2025 on it. And the theme is going to be full steam ahead, preparing for the future. The hotel is going to feature vintage train car rooms. There'll be 20 in total, and 5 of them will be raffled off for free stays.
I have seen them and they are amazing.
Oh,
We'll attest to that.
So if you would like to be a part of planning that conference, they're in the beginning stages of that. And the planning committees are still forming. If you'd like to join a team.
They need help. Rebecca Ashak.
Yeah. Rebecca Ashak is who you'd reach out to if you want her contact information. Shoot me an email. I'll shoot you her contact. I'll probably CC her on it. Be like, here you go. All right, next slide. So these were where some of the different committees, I put just some highlights here of what they reported out. I'm actually going to send a summary of all the different report outs to all of you guys in an email. So to save time, they talked about retention. I again want to plug the mobile app. It should be out soon. There will be some exciting features, so get ready for that email when it does come out. We discussed the marketing committee. Again, you'll see those updates when I give you the full update in an email. All right, bigger announcements. All right, Ohio upcoming. All right, first, guys, as much as I love leading you, I really do, I would like to give someone else the opportunity to lead. When you run for board in the Ohio chapter, and you get elected as vice chair. So Katie is vice chair this year, and the natural progression is for her to become the chair next year and for me to move into the past chair role. Well, in order for her to do that, and for me to roll, we need someone to run for vice chair. If you would like to be a part of shaping our chapter, we have applications open for the vice chair. We also need a secretary. This year, Kristin graciously stepped in to be the secretary when I had to bump up to chair a year early. And Katie jumped in from secretary to vice chair. So we did a little maneuvering. But if you would like to be a part of the say of decisions made at the chapter level and you want an easier spot, the secretary comes to the meetings and takes notes. An easy rule if you want to have a little taste of the executive committee. If you love numbers, money, Brittany has been doing the treasurer for quite a while. And I'm sure she would love to train someone else on how to handle the money. Tell me no, and Katie no to stop spending. Also, right now, Kim is our international board rep. He did just take on a new position at NiSource. Depending on her workload, she's not sure if she can fill out her full 2 years of that position. With that being said, if someone is interested in running for international board rep, Kim would be happy to hand it over to someone. It is a 2-year for commitment. The last couple of years, circumstances have happened where it's been a new board rep every year. But if you would love to represent us at the international board meetings every other month, and then the summer board and the one at conference, and have a say at the full international level in the decisions that are being made, we'd love for you to run for that.
We're gonna have fun in Tulsa. I know people are like, Tulsa? It's gonna be great.
Not a great
I
place.
promise.
The qualifications in this, where it becomes complicated, we do want you to be a member of WiNUP for 2 years. Our chapter has a lot of new people. So if you're really interested and you haven't been in 2 years, but you can sell us in another way, we'll still consider you. Because again, I would like to give other people opportunities to lead. So still fill it out. Sell me in another way. Sell the executive committee in another way. We do like you to meet 2 of our 5 leadership activity criteria, being a member in a committee, things of that nature. Additional leadership roles you've had in your work or other things are also considered. How to apply, the application is out. Katie sent it. If you can't find it, reach out to Katie or I and we'll get to you again. Please include your bio and a high resolution headshot and send that email to myself and Katie. The deadline is Thursday, August 14th. The elections for this will be August 18th through the 27th. We'll have candidate speeches, which are really not that complicated. And those will be August 28th during our
Strategy.
our next year's strategy. I do encourage all of you to attend our strategy meeting, because if you want to have a say in what we plan for next year, that's where you get to put in your ideas. Again, if you have any questions or are interested and want to know more, please reach out to Katie or myself. Next slide. All right, really quick. We have big events coming in August. Our MAG literacy event right here. You can already sign up on the website. I'm not going to give you too much detail because we are really short on time, but go to the website to find that out. That is on Saturday, August 9th from 12 to 4. Our next big event, and part of the great things about international committees, is I got to meet our Mid-Atlantic chapter, which is completely made of PJM. And PJM wants to get more involved with all of their stakeholders. And so they offered to send me their VP of transmission planning to speak. So free for members and for AEP people, we will have Jason Connell, who is the VP of planning for PJM, as well as Cameron Ali, who is the SVP of transmission and grid planning for AEP transmission, speaking about data center growth This will be in New Albany, and it will be on the 21st of August from 1 to 2:30. Tell your friends, and I encourage you all to come. Next up, and we just keep them coming. Who loved the networking event last night? Well, we're going to do another one. This one's going to be a networking and membership drive. It is going to be at Seventh Sun Brewing. It is going to be on Wednesday, September 10th from 6 p.m. to 7:30. We will have different people telling you their why. Our theme for this year was Tell Your Story. So we're going to be having different people at different stages of their career and in their WiNUP stories telling their story. This is open to everyone. So bring your friends because there will be prizes if you bring some people who aren't members yet. We want everyone to be able to utilize the great things we offer as WiNUP members. We want to help everyone and support everyone in their careers. On that, boy, do we love to give. And if you have a great love for chocolate and would like to help cancer support community in Central Ohio, you can join the Night of Elegance and Chocolate that will be at the Hollywood Casino
In Columbus,
Not
the other Hollywood casino.
on September 26th. That all of the signups for these are already on the website. Join us. Next. And then I'm already thinking ahead to October. Get some emergency training in you. Our Sam Quino, who is our executive sponsor, is also a certified trainer in a thing called Stop the Bleed. So you learn life-saving techniques through hands-on training, no medical background required. You are going to learn how to recognize life-threatening bleeding, safely, effectively apply pressure till emergency crews can get there, and use a tourniquet correctly. So there's going to be food. Sam is very fun. It's going to be a great training. That is coming up in October. Please sign up for all these events, share them with your friends, and we hope to see you there. All right, and we got giveaways. We got giveaways. Okay, next up on the winner, and this, because you stayed till the end of the meeting, we have, please present us the Ohio Chapter is doing a fundraiser right now for these lovely WiNUP tumblers. And the winner of that tumbler is Sarah. Yay! So if you love this tumbler so much and you would love to support the Texoma Women WiNUP chapter,
I will be happy to send it your way or give it to a conference.
Yeah.
The other.
so we have that fundraiser. You guys have also seen emails about that. All right, next up we have from the Nashville chapter, we have some fans. Where are those fans? at? All right. Chelsea, you are the winner of a fan. And Amber, you are the winner of a fan.
Talk with the little girl who does the fan. Where the fans at? And she, you know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna need Trisha. I need to show it to her. It's amazing. It's like 5.
You'll see it at conference.
Yeah.
All right, Patty, you get a fan.
No, we only have 2 fans.
Okay, you get something else.
Patty can have a frame picture. I'll take that up to.
All right, what else we got?
We have another photo frame. We have bracelets. We have best friends. We have notebooks and luggage.
All right, I'm just gonna start running off the names. Tell me how many names I need to get.
Okay.
All right. Jessica, Flanders, you won something.
We'll give it to you.
Pick her something really cool.
Bracelet.
You get a bracelet.
Yay.
That
That was a sincere yay.
Jessica, which building are you at? Are you downtown? We'll send that with Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the
All
240 building.
right. Chelsea, you already won. Did I forget to take your name off? I did. All right, next up. Winner. Edie, you won. And Cheryl, you won.
Cheryl, take your pick. We have books. We have notebooks, luggage bags,
Next
bracelets.
up. 4 minutes to spare. Brenda, you won something. Congrats.
Thank you.
And how many prizes we got left?
Got like 5.
Scarlett is the winner.
Scarlett?
She's still, yep.
Oh, Scarlett. Yeah. Scarlett. I hate picking names.
Every time she calls.
I'm showing the picture. I'm showing Miss Shirley. I encourage you for a good day, Miss
Stacy.
Shirley.
Stacy with you?
Is this the fan you're looking for?
Stacy.
Oh my God, yeah. Can you do it? Tell me you
Yes.
can do it.
You can do the dance too, don't let go. Gretchen just won.
He does the same song. I did.
Gretchen?
Yep, that's me.
That's her. All right. All right, and
Jacobia.
take that.
We have to do it.
Hilarious.
You can't tell me this little girl who does this like keeps singing.
And she brings it because I started singing that song
Where
to
the
her at
fans
Cuba.
at?
All right.
All right, how many more prizes we got left?
Oh, I just counted. We still have 5 left if you want to do all 5.
Oh, all 5 of the fans?
No, we have 1 bracelet, 2 luggage tags, 2 notebooks.
One bracelet.
We are at 128.
Okay,
So-
1 more. Just do 1 more.
One more prize. Jill, you won something. Jill. I bring that back to you. All right, with that, thank you for coming to our first chapter meeting in person that we've had in a while.
And we learned about fans. That's what we learned about.
Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Katie or I, or
Yes.
their contact
Thank you for letting us
information
join. Thank you.
is on. Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you all for making the time to come. And with that, I conclude this chapter meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. If there's any food left, feel free to take some.
Yes,
with you.
take some food.
Yes, I'm gonna make.
Watch her, she gets going, like.
I know.
You want me to?
And the fact that she goes by Miss Shirley and then.
In a row.
My God.